to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back. Once again, it is a Sunday morning, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. Just hanging out in here today. It is winter. It is cold. It's just me and the dogs in here today. I'm out here in the war room. It's where I spend a lot of my time this time of year, especially when it gets cold, especially when it gets windy, and especially when it snows, which we have not seen yet. But it allows me to get a lot of stuff done, like, clean the guns, think of what I'm going to do next year, watch a lot of Netflix, peruse social media, because that's what I do. Sitting here kind of thinking, thinking about everything that's been going on lately in the country, thinking about the conversations I've had throughout the week, thinking about the radio show that I did on Friday. I'm sitting down here trying to prepare, get ready. I've got a big permit class coming up this Saturday. Got all the guys that helped me lined out to show up. It's supposed to be a pretty nice day. We're getting kind of cold in the evenings, but I think that class day is supposed to be right around 45 degrees, 46 degrees, which that's not summertime necessarily, but it's not too bad as long as the wind stays down. I've got about 23, 24 people signed up for that class. So I think in my local area here, I think the other guys kind of, they just quit giving classes when it gets cold. I don't know if it's because they don't have access to, an easy, accessible range like I do. I'm not sure. But they don't do it when it gets cold. That is the only thing I do. That is all I do. So I do not stop giving classes if people sign up for them. I will give a class. I've only canceled one class, and that was because it flooded. It was underwater. That was a permit class, and I was using an indoor range at the time. We had a whole bunch of snow. It was a really bad winter. We had stuff start rapidly melting. We had one of our canals was breached because there was so much water in it, and it kind of blew out the side of it, and it just ran down all the low spots. And it happened to fill the indoor range up that I use. It filled it up with water. So I walked in there, and there was about 2 feet of water in there, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to cancel class. I don't have any other choice. That was before I had access to my current range that I use now. So kind of some upgrades I'm thinking about. I'm always trying to change the range around a little bit, and I've been talking about it, and I do need to get some dirt work done. So at this rate, it probably won't happen until the spring, but I've got a nice layer of gravel in there for people to walk on, gravel and brass. And I'm actually thinking about adding some kind of flooring out there. I say that. So I've seen these big ranges that people make, and they make the ground you walk on relatively smooth. They smooth it out the best they can, and they end up rolling out like AstroTurf type of situation, and that kind of has me intrigued. It's not real muddy out there. It gets a little soft, but I got a good base of gravel and everything, and I'm wondering what it would be like to how much it would cost to roll out some of that green AstroTurf type stuff. It'd be much easier to pick up brass. I already have a good, pretty solid base to start with, so I'm considering that. But of course, I need to get some dirt work done, or that just messes it all up as soon as you spill dirt on that stuff. So something I'll be looking into over the winter, seeing if it's even feasible. So what else I got going on here? Oh, I got a rifle. I got a new rifle. Now, it's not the kind of rifle you might be thinking. It's not an AR style, like semi-automatic rifle, but it is I picked up It was one that was here for sale for quite a while. Well, some people left it here, wanted me to try and sell it, and I couldn't get it sold. But I decided one day that I would go out and shoot it. They said, "Hey, Todd, you should go shoot this rifle." So I went out there and I shot it. And what it is a bolt-action rifle, and it's a .257 Roberts built on a Mauser action. And I'm not a real rifle guy, but it kind of intrigued me. So I went out and I shot it. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was the easiest shooting rifle I've ever shot in my entire life. It's got very little recoil, and from what I've read, you can get like 60 grain pills for it, 60 grain bullets, 80 grain bullets, 100 grain bullets, 117, all the way up to, I believe, 120 grain bullets for it. All the research and stuff I've done tells me that everyone says it is a good caliber for hunting deer with. Whitetail, mule deer, antelope, really small game. I have a friend of mine who uses his to go and shoot rock chucks with it. So I'm kind of looking forward to, I did purchase it, got a really good deal on it. So I'm poking around and I'm realizing that ammo for it is super, super expensive. I think you can buy, I think I looked up and like a box of 20 rounds was like, anywhere from $60 to $80. Well, that's a little out of my price range for that rifle. Now, it came with some ammo, and considering I have reloading equipment and I probably have almost everything I need except for the bullets, which I picked up, and I am looking for some large rifle primers, which can be tough to get. I might have a line on some of those. I have everything in my Amazon cart, dies, everything like that, and I'm getting ready to purchase that and possibly get into some more rifle reloading this winter. We'll see how it goes. I've even looked into casting rounds for it. Between casting and powder coating them, it should help me out on keeping the leading down in the barrel. I don't know. Just kind of a fun little rifle to play with. Did I need it? Not really. Will I shoot it a bunch? I don't know. I will. I'll probably have my kiddo shoot it quite a bit. Work on his accuracy because the recoil is so low, and I've failed to actually have a decent 22 rifle. All I have for a 22 rifle is that little Cricket, so he's kind of outgrown that. He's way outgrown that now. He shoots his 243, or this year he shot a 7mm mod 8 for deer. But if I can reload for this little sucker and just cast the bullets for it, I might as well put him on that. Get him used to shooting a rifle. Get lots of rounds through it, so it won't beat him up near as bad as what maybe his deer rifle, his normal hunting rifle would. So I don't know, something I'm looking into. Got it, it's mine. It's pretty nice, pretty slick. Maybe I'll post some pics on social media. I don't know. I'll keep you guys abreast and apprised of my reloading adventures. I can reload for handguns all day. Rifles tend to be a problem for me. So this will be fun. I have to get all nerdy and technical now, and I don't know if I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know. Something else I wanted to touch on, and I did put a post up on our Facebook page this morning. And there was this lady, and I showed this lady. She was wearing a dress and a shirt and whatnot, and showed her carrying a firearm. And very unassuming, like you wouldn't think she'd be carrying a firearm. And I think that's 100% awesome. I love it when people carry good and you don't even know they have a gun. But I posted it up because, I have a lot of women come and take classes from me, or even a lot of men, ask the same thing, like, how do you carry a gun? I just cannot find the right way, the best way to carry this firearm. I feel it, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, whatever. And as much as I've talked about this in the past, you have to do it. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice to carry the gun. Find out how you want to carry it. I prefer on the body. Some people prefer in a purse, in a bag, whatever. That is fine. I don't encourage that because I don't necessarily like that way. But it is doable and it is possible with the right equipment, the right bag, the right holster, the right discipline. But carry your gun. If you have a gun for protection, it doesn't do you any good unless you carry it on your person. There are so many different types of holsters and different ways to carry out there that telling me it is, I don't like to, gets in the way, that I don't have the right clothes. That's just a cop out. That's literally all that is a cop out. There is a way to carry that firearm. And you need to understand that carrying a gun should be comforting, not comfortable. You're going to feel it. You're going to know it's there. 100%. I carry everywhere I legally can every day, right? And do I always like carrying a gun? I'll be 100% honest with you. I do not, but I do. Do I enjoy appendix carrying everywhere I go because that's my chosen spot to carry? No, I do not. You know what? Let's be honest. It is a little uncomfortable. It does poke and prod and press in all the wrong places. But it is what it is. You mitigate it the best you can with your equipment, with your padding, with your gun. You find out what works for you, and you just carry on. Okay? That's the way it goes. That's the way it should be. You just have to work with it. It's a serious matter. And if you're going to carry, be disciplined to do it and do it all the time. It should become a lifestyle. Too many people don't want to be bothered. Well, if you don't want to be bothered with it, then don't carry a gun at all. Just don't. Right? It's a pain in the butt too if you get mugged or you get shot or you get killed. You could have had that gun with you, but it just felt a little off that day. You just didn't feel like dealing with it that day. You didn't feel like struggling with it that day. Folks, they make so many ways to carry a firearm. Different holsters, different clothes. They have got sweatpants and athletic shorts now that enable you, and I haven't tried them out, but I've seen them out there, that are made so you can carry your gun on while wearing those types of clothes. They make really cool hoodies and stuff and different ways to access your firearm. All these things are out there. You're going to have to spend a little money. You're going to have to find out what works for you, but you need to figure it out. Do it. Become dedicated, and it becomes easier over time. It really is that simple. Just find one and do it. Find a gun, find the way you want to carry, and do it. It's that simple. I don't know. People want to carry a gun and not realize they have it, and that's really annoying to me. And I know I've talked about it before, but you're not going to find, there's no way to carry where you're not going to know you have a gun, and you should always know you have a firearm on your person. You know, and on top of carrying it, you need to know how to use it. This time, I have so many students and people that come take classes from me, and I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy helping. I have some people that don't retain anything. Okay, and I don't know why. They struggle with it. They don't retain. They don't practice. They come here. They get their gun out. They do their shooting. They put it away and go home, and then I don't see them for another month or a couple weeks or whatever it might be. Okay. Carrying a gun, you owe it to yourself to be proficient with it. You owe it to yourself to practice. I get text message from a lot of people all the time say, I'm dry firing today. I'm practicing my draw today. And that's fantastic. I love to get those kind of text messages. Okay. It takes sacrifice. People go, how can I get good with it? You know, they'll see someone else in class shoot. Man, I wish I could get that good. Well, that gentleman, that woman, that whoever that is, that person has put in time and effort to become good. Right? They practice drawing that weapon at home. They practice dry firing that weapon. They have practiced mag changes at home. Right? They do it every single day. Every single day. If you want it, you have to do it. It doesn't just come to you. And then you got to continually practice it, and it is a skill that will degrade over time if you don't use it. Go home, practice, go out, go shoot, take classes. That's how you get good. If I were to go to the gym a whole bunch and then all of a sudden just quit going to the gym, what's going to happen? I'm not going to be as strong. I'm not going to be as fit. It's going to degrade over the time. It's the same way it is when you're learning how to fire the gun, right? Let's say a person is out there, is dedicated to going to the gym. They're dedicated on trying to be as fit as they could. They're dedicated on being an asset to their family. And then they decide they want to add a firearm to that, and they want to start carrying this gun around for protection of themselves, their friends, their family, whatever. then they need to add that into their daily routine of practice, of spending money on ammo, of going to the range and training with a purpose. Don't just go out there and fire off as many rounds as you possibly can. That's going to do nothing for you. You need to take the time and do dedicated drills, learn something. Every time you go out and shoot, learn something, practice something, become better at it. It doesn't happen on its own, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and I just keep telling people that. I'll take your money all day, people. I'll take people's money all day long. If you want to come and you want to pay me for a bunch of classes, I have zero problem taking your money. And as I take your money and you show up and you take a beginner's class and then you want to take another class and then another class and we try to build on it, if you're not progressing, yeah, we're not on the beginner's class anymore, but if you're not progressing and you're not putting in the time and the effort to be able to progress, you're just spending lots of money with me. And it's not me. I'm not the one slowing you down. I'll push you. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you get better. I want to see you get more accurate. I want to see you get more proficient and quicker and more confident with your gun. But if you're not putting in the effort, right? If that's practicing on your own, or if that's, whatever that is, if you're not putting in the effort, that's not on me. You're going to sign up for another class, and we can't progress. There is a sequence of events and skills that have to be learned in a certain order. And if you can't perform those skills, then we can't move on. And that's just the way it is. You build. You build with the safety. You build with the fundamentals, okay? Once you've got those down, you know them, then we start working more on accuracy. We start working more on, okay, let's tweak the grip. Let's tweak the trigger press. Let's tweak the pressures that you apply on the gun. Let's tweak your stance a little bit. Perfect. You got that. Okay. Now let's continue to apply those things. Now let's work on let's hyper focus on the trigger press and the trigger reset. Let's learn all that stuff. We get on that. Okay, now let's work on putting shots together. 2 shots, 3 shots, strings of shot. How accurate are you? Okay, great. Perfect. Now what can we do? Now we can work on multiple targets. Let's work on multiple targets. Let's work on acquiring multiple targets. 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots. You work in a sequential order like that. Okay, now you can do that. Now let's figure out if we haven't done it already, because this I can kind of throw in anywhere, but let's go ahead and teach you how to draw. Let's get you fast. Let's teach you how to draw the handgun safely, properly, and quickly. We start doing that. You get good at that. Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and throw in a mag change. Let's teach you how to do mag changes. Okay, yeah, you got that. Now I put together drills of what? I put together drills of multiple targets, this target, this target, this target, 2, 2, 1, whatever I decide. And then you're going to draw every drill. You're going to draw. You're going to engage. You're going to shoot. You're going to run out of ammo. You're going to have to do a mag change, right? All this encompasses all that. You start struggling, then we have to stop. And people do struggle, and I'm not admitting that. I mean, people do struggle, and that's fine. And that's what's going to happen when you train. You push to the edge of the cliff, see how close you can get without falling off. Once you fall off, you back up a little bit. I get it. But once you're to that spot where you're drawing that gun, where you're performing good mag changes, and I could run you through drills where you're doing that. Now we look back at your accuracy again. Have you still maintained that accuracy? Have you still maintained being able to grab that sight picture and press that trigger? And have you been able to maintain that extreme grip that we talked about? Are you maintaining all that, right? Then we just keep building and building and building, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but there's a lot of stuff that you can practice and do at home or at the range on your own before you come back and take another class. And you're just wasting money if you don't. I'll take your money all day. Waste it with me all day long. It sounds like I'm running people off. But if you don't put in the time and the effort, one class every month is not going to just magically make you better. Yeah, you'll get a little bit better over time. That's just the nature of things because you are doing it, but it's not going to magically just turn you into a professional, right? Turn you into a good, competent, or competitive shooter or whatever it is you're looking for. It takes time, and to start off is horribly boring, or it can be. Horribly boring. A lot of repeating. Shooting and shooting well is just repeating things over and over and over and over again. And that's repeating the what? The correct things over and over and over and over again. And I would like to encourage you, if you're going to do this, pick one gun and stick with it. Pick one gun and stick with it. Learn how to do this all on one gun and then bring in another. I know I've said this all before, and you guys are probably just like, man, didn't you say this a couple months ago? Yes, but it bears for me to repeat it. Okay? Too many people want to show up. They want to be good, and they want to be good now. And that doesn't happen. Right? I don't go to the gym one day and end up walking out of there a bodybuilder. That doesn't work. It takes time. It takes effort. And sometimes, like when I started going to the gym, or I started running, when I started running, for example, it was 2 miles, 1 mile, 2 miles, 2.5 miles, right? I'm 3 or 4 months in, and I'm maybe at the 5 mile mark. And then all of a sudden I start building, and I catch on my aerobic, right? My aerobic, my endurance kind of catches up, and I'm all of a sudden I'm able to just build and build, and I get stronger and better. It's the same way it is with shooting. It's the same way it is with going to the gym or running or doing any of those activities. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to. It never will. It never will. It's all on you, right? I help you out when you're here, and I'll teach you the things that you need to know, and then you've got to build on that. So, and there's always something you can learn. Never quit learning. Never quit learning. One more thing I want to chat about here is something that is, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not. I need to have like a disclaimer, The thoughts and the opinions expressed on the Patriot Defense Podcast are exactly it. The thoughts and the opinions of the Patriot Defense Podcast. I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm not saying this is what it isn't. This is my take on it. These are my thoughts. These are my opinions. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about national reciprocity. National reciprocity. What is that? I talked about it a little bit the other day because it came back into light. And I feel like national reciprocity is that one thing that a presidential candidate can all of a sudden say, we need national reciprocity. And everyone's like, yay, national reciprocity. That's perfect. That's what we need. That's what we want. And it's the one thing that they can say to go, oh, this guy's for it, or this is what's going to happen. This is a good thing. You tell the Second Amendment folks, the gun-loving folks that you're going to encourage and that you're going to get a national reciprocity, and they're in lockstep. I'm here to say, and this isn't picking on President Trump. It's not picking on anyone, really. Let's really think long and hard about national reciprocity. This hasn't been in play, okay? We don't know what's going to happen with this. It is mentioned, and everyone's like, yes, we want it, we want it, we want it. I'm here to say that I don't think it's as good of an idea as what you think it is. National reciprocity, what is that? That means that if you are allowed to get a permit in the state that you live in, that all states nationally recognize everyone's permit, and there's no states that will not recognize your permit, so you're good to go when you travel. Now, I don't know what this means exactly, okay? So this is just me kind of putting this out there. So does that mean you still have to follow certain states' laws when it comes to guns? I would imagine that's what it is. You still have to follow the laws in the states that you travel to, but all the states are going to recognize your concealed carry permit. So, and I don't know how this is going to entail, how they're going to work this. Like, is it each state's permit is just good? Is it a thing where you have to take certain training or a certain test, or you get a national permit? I have no idea how they would even institute this. And that's what kind of worries me. I went on, I did a little Google search, and I know what AI Google told me when I looked it up. I know what other places are saying, and they're saying you get your permit in your state and you're just recognized in all the other states. I don't buy that that's exactly how that would work because we're talking about the federal government here. Now, do we like or should we like? I know I don't. This is a question you should ask. Should you like anything that comes down nationally, anything that comes down from the federal government? I think you always need to look at it. You need to weigh it out. You need to look at it. You need to question it. Okay. So I'm a big states' rights guy. I think that each state should be able to figure out what they want and do that. And if you don't like it, you move out of the state. I'm okay with that. Okay, because if there's a state that doesn't do what I like or doesn't allow me to carry in it or whatever, or drive a red car, if the state bans red cars, then guess what? I just don't go to that state. And that's how my state, in my mind, succeeds, right? And then you have a state that doesn't recognize guns or doesn't recognize red cars, and in their mind, and that's good for them in their mind, that's how they succeed, right? So you pick the state you want to move to and you go to that state. It's a states' rights issue. You want a state to legalize marijuana? That's fine. That's good for that state if that's what they want to do. If that is good for them, great. If it fails them, it is what it is. They made that choice. You don't like it? Yeah, you go live in a different state, right? I think that's the way it should be. I don't believe that nationally, I want the federal government coming in and telling me what I can or can't do when it comes to anything. I know they do, but I don't want them to tell me that on any level, especially with what? Especially with my gun rights. I don't want them to control that. So it's taking it from the lower source, which would be your state government, right? And taking it up to a higher level, which is the federal government, which is harder for you to get to and change and control. Okay? I don't think you want to release something like this into the hands of the federal government, because if they do bad things with it, you're never getting that shut off. Like, you just aren't. So I think we need to be really cautious. Now, if you live in a state and you're like, well, Todd, my state doesn't allow me to carry. It has all these rules and regulations, and it would be really nice if the federal government would swoop in and just say this and allow it. I guess I understand that, but what I want, and I understand why you would say that. Let's say that. I understand why you would say that and why that would be a concern to you. Here's my thoughts. Easier said than done. If you don't like the way your state is, you either need to move, and I know some people can't because financially or their job, career, whatever, can't move, then you need to get in and change your state. You need to get in and you need to change it on the state level. And so that's where it's easier for the every ordinary average Joe citizen to make that change is on the state level, right? Way easier than on the federal level. Okay. I'm not saying it's 100% cakewalk, walk in the park easy, but it's a lot easier for you to do that on the state level than it is the federal level. And it's a states' rights thing. Why would you give that up? Why would you take that right? Why would you throw it up to the federal government to make all their choices and decide they want to do this and decide they want to do that? You shouldn't ever do that. You keep it down where you can effectively change it one way or another, right? By being active, right? By voting in, on the state level, how do you affect that? You vote in people that believe the same thing, right? You fight for your rights. You do more than comment on Facebook. You get involved. That's how you control it on the state level. Now, locally here, and this is just where I live in Idaho, last year they decided they would try and make a law to where in our schools, K through 12, that anyone with the Idaho Enhanced Concealed Carry Permit could just, boom, carry a gun in the schools. You didn't have to, well, it wasn't anyone, it was either an employee or like a subcontractor. You wouldn't have to do anything. You just had the permit. You're able to carry the gun in the schools. And it failed miserably. And I applauded that because it really needs to fail miserably. because that was a little nuts to a certain extent. First of all, I don't think it should be up to the state to be like the federal government in the state of Idaho where I live and say, bam, we're making this law. Bam, this is the way it's going to be. Because now all of a sudden, what? All your rights it's what the state says. You have control, but you don't have as much control, right? You always want to keep everything and all these decisions as local as possible. When it's between the state and the federal government, you want your state to control it, right? If it's between the state and a lower level, you want the lower level to be the one that enforces it, but to the one that makes that decision, because they're more accessible for you to get in there and do what you want. So what Idaho has in place currently, which is the way I think it should stay, is if a certain school wants to allow the carrying of concealed weapons, concealed guns on their campuses, whether it be just allow anyone, whether it be to allow employees, whether it be to have a few specific employees or teachers, they can do whatever they want. They can do that. They can make those calls. Parents can get together. They can go. They can make that happen. They can approach the school board. They can come up with a plan, convince them to change it. And as long as they write it into their bylaws, then it is good to go. They can require certain training, they can, certain qualifications, continued ed, whatever it is that they want to put together, they can put together, write it in their bylaws, and it's good to go. Now you may say, well, our school board will never do that. There's too many communists on that school board. There's too many lefties on that school board. There's too many anti-gun people on the school board. They would never do that. So I want the state to come in and just make them do it. Okay. Well, so what is that? That's, in my mind, that, my friend, is being lazy. Get in there, take control of your school board, run for the school board, go to the meetings, cause them problems, look into the school board. I'm going to tell you right now that locally I know of at least one school board that is super, super crooked. They probably don't obey the laws. I'm sure there's a lot of money missing and a lot of stuff going on. And I guarantee you it's probably that way somewhere with a lot of the school boards. Get in there, raise some hell with them, let them know what you want. And if the wrong people are in power, get them out of power. Be involved. Just don't sit back on your thumbs. Thumb in your sack. Sorry, but that's what it is. Thumb in your sack, doing nothing, and want, a big daddy government, whether it be big daddy national federal government or big daddy state government, to come in and swing their big hammer around and say, this is the way it's going to be, because then you're screwed. Right? Then you're screwed. It needs to be done on the lowest level possible. So when it comes to the schools, it needs to be done at the school board. Okay, if that means you got to be involved, great. When it comes to this national thing, that obviously doesn't deal with the school board. When it comes to a national level, then you're fighting between the state government and the federal government. Then it needs to be the state government. That's just the way it should be. I hate national reciprocity. I do not like it. Keep the federal government out of my life. They're already in my life enough as it is. And most of their crap is they can't even control. It's failed. They waste money. I mean, look at the freaking post office. I mean, look at everything they have their hand in goes to shit. Okay? They do not need to be in control of this. This is a states' rights issue, and that's where it should stay. But they know that there's enough people out there that do not want to be involved, that do not want to actually get involved. They just want someone to swoop in and go, national reciprocity for all. Like, that's literally what they want to hear them say. And they, oh, yeah, we'll give you our vote. We'll give you our vote, and this is the way it's going to be. And I can't wait. You're going to get it done. But the average Joe doesn't have to do anything. That is not the way you want to be run. You give that up, you're done. I mean, they're just going to slowly take over, and you don't usually reverse government stuff. It just doesn't work that way. And I think we have to be really careful because there's people that are trying to be appointed as certain cabinet members that and attorney generals and whatnot that do not believe in and do not support the Second Amendment the way that it should be supported. They're that type of person that is, I support the Second Amendment, but they're that person that is but. Okay. There is that's not a thing. Okay. The but should never be there. It's either you're in or you're out. Okay. I want to call you a rhino. I want to call you a wolf in sheep's clothing, whatever it is, right? Those are the kind of people that are going to get their grubby little fingers into this if we let them jump in here. And I know you're going to have people like the NRA. You're going to have people like that jump on this and go, oh, yeah, look at national reciprocity. Well, they're crooked as hell, too. So if the NRA says something's good, you need to go run the other direction as fast as you can. Get involved. Take care of this on the state level. This is where it needs to be. If you're locally here in Idaho, where I'm at, let's take care of this school thing at the local level, not the state level. Because as soon as we let the state come in, that takes this way for us locally to control any of that, to decide how we want things, and that supersedes, and that's out the door. We've just lost some control, and we've handed it all over to the state. The state, you shouldn't do that, and the states don't hand over all your control to the federal government. It's a bad day when that happens. So anyhow, I am done ranting for the day. I will say, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I did great. We had a great time. We didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. We were out of town. We were hiking. We were running. We spent the time down in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. It was 60 degrees. I spent time with my son, spent time with my wife. We had a fantastic time. The weather was fabulous, and it was a great time. So I hope you spent time with your family and had a good time. And you guys we're looking straight into the Christmas season now. It is coming up. I caught some Christmas music on the radio today when I was going in for my run, and I wanted to vomit. I'm just not a Christmas music guy until like 2 days before Christmas. Other than that, yuck. So, got some more stuff in the works, and then when I finalize some different things, you guys will be the first to know, once I do my one podcast every 3 months. But those who are still listening, I do appreciate it. And share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with everyone. That is free. That is the one thing you can do. It doesn't cost you any money. This is a free service that I provide. So if you can help me out and get it out there to the masses, I would sure appreciate it. Until then, everyone, you guys have a great week. I will talk to you later. Bye.